Hey everybody, I am on for the midweek message reveal Wednesday, September 18th. It's crazy that we're mid-September already. Whew. Um, how are you doing? How was that supermoon lunar eclipse, partial lunar eclipse last night that we had in Pisces? It was a day, and it's been prior to and even considering the vibe right now, it's been still a lot of energy that's coming through in a sort of dreamy, convoluted, soupy sort of emotional vibe. And now that the eclipse itself has moved, what it's allowed us to do is move into what we call the eclipse portal. And it's typically the lunar eclipse and then a solar eclipse. And that solar eclipse is going to be happening for us in October in Libra, which is when we're dealing with solar. Obviously, that has to do with the sun. Lunar has to do with the moon. And this portal is really bringing up a cleanup vibe. It's also bringing up a tune-up vibe. So if you're feeling like getting things organized, defining things, cutting things off, putting your foot down finally, if that is coming about for you, that energy is very much indicative of what is coming through at this point. We're also looking towards the equinox here on the 22nd, which is another opportunity for us to expand, clear, purge, and realign. So that is the vibe. If you're feeling redirected, if you are going one direction and then realizing, nope, you're getting a hard cutoff, no. If you're finding that people that you're normally in conversation with seem to be moving to the periphery, and you're not really sure why, or maybe you're also putting them in that periphery and not sure why you just don't feel like reaching out. A lot of this is because we need to come back to ourselves in order to find that alignment in that center line. Very similar to what I explained last week that came through very strong in the messages. I'm getting itchy, so that's just like a yeah. So that feels good. We have the moon that has moved into Aries right now. And the Aries energy it's the baby of the zodiac, right? But it also is a connection to our inner child. And our little us's, our littles, are really wanting to say, this is the desire I have, and I want it, and I want it now. Very Veruca Salt stomping, geeses. I want my geese to lay gold eggs for Easter. At least 100 a day. Sorry, I can't stop myself once I start talking about Willy Wonka. Anyway, the portal itself is strong. The moon in Aries wants to clean up. It wants to purge. It wants to kind of be a little angsty, a little pushy. But at the same time, it does that because it just wants to express itself. It wants you to express yourself. It wants you to stop hiding behind the mask that you've created. It wants you to stop playing it up for other people and trying to please them before you please yourself. So this is the check-in point. And a lot of this is cleaning up a lot of karmic stuff that we've had going on. And the portal itself, moving up into this eclipse, has been clearing stuff out since 2008. So take a look back. Where were you then? What have you learned? Are there themes that have been cropping up again that you're reaching a different level of understanding on? Are you playing things out with people who might be different people, same old flav? Is that where you want to be? How do you get out of that? Well, you're going to have to do the work. And if you need help with that work, I'm your girl. So reach out. La, 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 la. I hope I can make that look good when I do the edit. So anyway, the energy, it's wild. And that's really all I can say. You might even be in a situation where you might feel a sense of emotional betrayal. Maybe people have been kind of making you feel some kind of way and then realizing that you poured a lot of energy into it only to be kind of coming up with nothing. And that vibe is strong as well, but I'm going to warn you to not lean into the victimhood side of things. People get shuffled around and people ebb and flow just like energy, just like the tides, and it will all come back together again if it's meant to be. But if you're holding on to something and you're forcing something, if you're making something happen because you feel that this is the way it is and you need to be right or you need to be vindicated or validated, then I guarantee that it's going to blow up in your face. Release your grip. allow yourself some space. Allow yourself a moment to breathe where you can get yourself centered into your body. Are you doing that? If you aren't, you're probably feeling pretty crappy. You're probably having, your body is probably reacting in a purging type sense. And it's releasing all of this stuff to make room for you to get back into alignment. See it for what it is. It's work to be done. Are you up to the task? That is the question. All right. Woo, 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 woo. There's so much going on, and I'm so like, ooh, itchy tingly. Let's do this. All right. So we're going to jump into the channeling this week. I appreciate all of the feedback and all of the shares and tags and all that great stuff and DMs and messages. I really appreciate all of your help in this, getting the word out. Okay. So just wanted to say that first off. All right. We're going to get connected here and get myself focused. Okay. All right. Went with Standing Towers this week for funsies. She's a beaut. All right, for one. A little rainbow action there for you. Connecting with your energy one. I instantly hear, I hear someone laughing, and there's a lot of, the laughing is kind of that guffaw, which is a wonderful word. It's a word that sounds like itself. It's onomatopoeic. I think I made up a word with onomatopoeia. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But anyway, the energy is light, playful, a little scattered, perhaps a little manic. That's okay. It feels like what's going on with you is a vibe of effervescence. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little tummy sensation with group one, or if you're feeling maybe a little full, a little full of air. And that is also translating to how you're feeling in a mental state. You might be feeling a lot of swirling energy around you, having a difficult time kind of keeping your attention on one thing. Feeling a little scattered, like I had said before, is what's coming through, and I'm scattered in giving this message because I can feel that energy pretty strongly. The need to ground, and this is something that every single group at some point every week needs to hear. You need to do this work. You need to ground yourself down. You need to get yourself into a space where you can chill. And I don't mean chill with your phone, and I don't mean chill by, sitting in front of the TV or being on some sort of device. Cut off the electronics for a period of time. And I'm not saying it needs to be all day. I'm saying, can you give yourself 15 minutes where you are nowhere near anything that's plugged in so you can plug into yourself? Because that is the disconnect that's happening here. You're doing the work in all the other areas, but you are not allowing yourself to kind of ground down all of these really interesting thoughts and ideas. You have a lot of ideas. They're so excitable and they're fun. And there's finally, and I hear finally, like you're finally feeling like you can do something with this stuff. You're finally feeling like there's been a weight lifted. And it's almost as if you're a helium balloon. I'm seeing like a balloon that's being held down by something that's keeping it down on the ground. Like you've been cut loose from the weight. But you need to watch so you don't go flying off into the nothingness and not be able to get to harnessing the beauty of those ideas and allowing them to come into yourself, ground them into reality, and create them in alignment with what is your next step. You might be someone who benefits greatly from more physical activity. Take a walk, take the dog out, take someone else's dog out. Maybe do some cleaning, do some rearranging that gets you up and moving if you don't feel like going and taking a run or jumping on an elliptical machine or going skating or playing baseball, whatever. Get out there and do something so you can kind of be more in the moment. It's going to kind of kick loose this airy-fairy sort of fluffiness that's going on up here and allow you to kind of distill some of this down, because the chatter is really loud. And that's actually a good thing. So there's clairaudience coming in, there's clairvoyance coming in. You really have an intuitive download that's being processed, but you need to be able to integrate it in order to work with it. So this is the way, this is the path. If you need help with that, let me know. Okay? All right, I'm going to move on to 2. 2, this is one of my favorites. Believe it or not, this is smoky quartz. And there's a little teeny tip that's actually clear. Not sure if my camera will be able to pick that up. Okay. 2, you're preparing for the worst is what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing loss, preparing for the worst. It's a defense mechanism. It's a response. You might be acting out of defensiveness and feeling like you need to justify yourself, explain your actions, explain your viewpoint, get on your soapbox at all times. And you're standing up there on this soapbox and you're yelling out into the void, all of these things. And you are wondering if you're falling on deaf ears. Because what you are not receiving back is acknowledgement that you're being heard. And that's simply what you really want, is you want to be heard. You want to know that whatever it is you say or whatever it is you feel, that you can air it out and it will be accepted by those who care for you and love you. And that they will see you as you are and as you see yourself, as someone worthy of being heard and seen. The thing is that the people that are interacting with you that you're having difficulty with at this time aren't giving that back to you for a reason. And it's not them. It's not a personal thing, although it feels very personal to you. They are acting as a mirror. This is essentially you not letting yourself be heard, you not listening to your true desires, you not in a space where you're able to acknowledge and give validation to the things that you are doing, saying, wanting to be. If you take the perspective and flip it around and look at this person or this group or this situation that's making you feel unheard, unseen, not acknowledged, not validated, making you feel less. And see where you're holding that belief and radiating it out. Their reaction is essentially your own reaction to yourself. You don't need other people to tell you you're right. You don't need other people to tell you you are good or worthy or seen or heard, although it feels good. What you need is to feel that for yourself. And a lot of us were raised with coping skills that we needed to reach outside of ourselves in order to say, am I okay? Am I okay? Am I okay? Tell me I'm okay. Tell me I'm loved. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm not a bad person. Tell me everything's going to be all right. And your little self, the tiny you, the little version of yourself that if you were to think in your mind, when I say little you, what age are you, first off? Connect with that version of you. That little version of you is asking big you for that validation, for that reassurance that they're okay and that you will take care of them. Because this is a reparenting that you're going through too. And it's something that is, it's complicated and it's long and it's sticky, messy. And other times it is so expandingly beautiful and has such great deep insights and a sense of true alignment that you will feel once you acknowledge this with your little self. Again, I can help with this. But there's lots of great resources where you can just even search inner child healing, or if you even look at the concept of the mirror and find your footing there, because there's kernels of information that will just pop out at you that will make a whole lot of sense. I recommend just going into, Facebook or wherever your socials, Instagram, whatever, TikTok, and put in your hashtags and follow those hashtags in order to get that more into your feed. I think you'd be interested to see the stuff that comes up, and I know that you will find some things that resonate with you. I know that for a fact. Okay? It is the work. It's the long work, and it's never ending. That doesn't mean it's not good work, and that doesn't mean it is not the purpose of life, to really kind of figure out who are you and why do you do what you do, and how can you overcome that programming that protected you at one point, and now you get to grow and be all of yourself and take care of yourself. All right, 3. Oops. Oh, come on. This one's got cool phantoms. Okay. 3, your energy feels as if you're kind of, you're playing both sides here. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth. I'm going to call you out on this because, this is how it is. There's a subject that you have feelings about, but you don't have a lot of facts on. And your feelings are what you are expressing when you're talking about this topic, not necessarily the facts. And I'm going to ask you why you're not looking to bolster your argument, because you feel you need to have one, 3, with facts. What is it that you're afraid of? I'm going to leave you with that question for a second and dig into that a little further. So I'm seeing a lot of yellow, which is connecting me to the solar plexus chakra, which is the seat of will, and it is the trust. It is the center of who you are. If you have a weakness in your solar plexus, you're going to feel like you're not good enough, like you're not worthy. You're going to feel as if any decision you make needs to be passed through someone else in order for it to be checked off. And what I'm feeling as well as a constriction here in the throat as well. I find a lot of connection between the throat chakra and the solar plexus, because if you're not able to speak who you are, then you're not able to stand in who you are, and vice versa. If you're not able to stand in who you are, you can't speak truly about yourself or what you feel. And I'd ask you to look into this a little bit, because the things that you're wanting to talk about and the emotions that you have are totally valid. And your opinions and your interpretations are worth hearing about. But you also have to do your due diligence here. Communication is difficult lately for me, a little scatterbrained. And this is tied to how you express yourself. You're a little concerned about how people will view you if you were to follow some stuff up with facts, or if you were to speak a little bit more about what it is you really feel about an issue or a topic. And this is several different topics for the people who chose 3. This isn't just one thing. For some of you, it is one thing. For others, it is kind of it's like a little parcel of different ideas that are kind of under the same window, the same funnel. Can't get my metaphor right here. Forgive. Anyway, within the next couple weeks, once we get through the eclipse portal on the other side of the solar eclipse in Libra, you'll have a clarity about what's going on right now that you don't have yet. I'm going to ask you, can you please keep yourself open? Can you please follow any sort of opinion that you're hearing or sharing with your own fact-finding and your own checking? Are you able to make sure that what you're saying and feeling is in alignment with what you truly believe, with your morals, with who you are at core, with who you are at your base? Because that inability to really say what you think kind of blocks you and doesn't allow your full energy force to flow through your body. And if we look at the chakra system from the roots down at the base of the spine up to above our heads to the soul star chakra and the star chakra, we need to have that flow. We need to have the flow from the root through to the crown, right? And if it's stopped right here or stopped right here, your energy is not able to kind of do the thing it needs to do. It's kind of like stepping on the hose. You're the one stepping on the hose. You don't have to do that. And some of it might be because you're worried about being liked. That's a whole nother can of worms, but it all goes back to worth. Just know that you are worthy, no matter what you think or feel. And you don't have to do anything to earn that. You don't have to please anybody to know that. You simply are just good on your own. Start there. All right, and 4. Okay, connecting with your energy 4. I'm feeling a lot of pressure on the sides of my head that's moving kind of in like a stress headache. If you're feeling some tension in the eyes, top of the head, it's kind of like a helmet. It's one of those helmet headaches. There's a lot that's happening. You're thinking about a lot. Your dreams have been really weird, and would love to hear some of them if I love to hear a weird dream. They're so interesting. And you might be considering keeping a pen and paper next to the bed, or I would not suggest writing it on your phone because the light's going to just kind of screw you up there. But allow yourself to get into a habit where you have a moment before you go to sleep to actively ask for the connection that you're receiving. I want to remember the dreams that I'm having. You're being communicated with. Some little snippets that you're remembering throughout the day where you're connecting to something and it's feeling very deja vu, like, oh, didn't I dream about that? Or I thought I had, you're almost prophetically having little ties of intuition, precognition even. There's stuff happening that you've already sort of intuited, you've felt it, you've heard. I hear think. It's where I can, it's almost like I'm not literally hearing something, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily not. Hard to explain. We'll have to do a little special on that kind of stuff. But you're experiencing this too. It's almost as if your mental periphery and your ability to see and to intuit through your feelings is kind of giving you more width in your periphery. You're able to go out further. You're able to, when you used to only be able to feel into one little pocket, now you can actually feel there's an expanse there. You can get more context, and the context is what's new, and the context is what's confusing. That's why the dreams are a little odd, because you're kind of shuffling some things out. And the way that source and spirit and your higher self communicate with you is through your own metaphorical playbook. I can't tell you what that is. Everyone has their own. And you really just have to kind of work with themes and symbols and things that remind you of a feeling. Maybe you're thinking about, maybe there's a color that connects you to a person, like maybe, your grandma wore this avocado green, and every time you see it, you can't help but think of her. She likely is trying to communicate with you through that feeling, through that color, through that resonance, and that alignment is lining up with you. Perhaps it's a memory that comes across that, you had a dream about something. Maybe you were a kid and you were playing outside and you were making snow angels or something like that. And you're having a dream about that time, but whoever it was you were making snow angels with is now like your boss. Isn't that weird? What do they represent, and how does that feeling connect, and what does it mean to make snow angels to you? I'm just giving examples. You're kind of in a stage of decoding, and this is an exciting time. Allow yourself the space to explore and experiment. Let yourself play. Let yourself first off the hook about trying to get it right or make it perfect. As soon as you're in that pocket of perfection and it needs to look a certain way, you're out of alignment, because that's not where we're at. There is no such thing as perfect. We are perfect in our imperfectness. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. You're awesome as you are. And the stuff that's going on is just making you more in touch with your awesomeness. So just keep on going. Put a pen and paper next to your bed before you go to sleep, ask your guides, ask your higher self, ask your whomever it is that you connect to. Hey, I would really love to get a message. I would really love to start to work on what it is that you're trying to show me and understand some things. When you show me a red rose, what does that mean? And go to sleep. And when you wake up, or wake up in the middle of the night and you have a moment and you can remember a snippet, jot it down. See what comes over the next couple days. See what comes over the next couple weeks when we get to the other side of the portal here. Be interested to hear how that works for you. All right. So those are the messages this week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Would love to hear your feedback. Would love to work with you too. So please check me out. Feel free to reach out and ask me about some things that, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out at any point. There's lots of ways to connect with me. And thank you for all of your shares and tags and all of that good stuff. And I will check you next week. So be good to yourself. Be good to each other. Peace.